Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this conference about the University Alliance for Entrepreneurship in Africa and the Middle East. My name is Fabio Petroni, and I'm the Director of Programs at the E4Impact Foundation, a spin-off of the Catholic University. Welcome to the audience here at the Dubai Expo 2020 and to those who joined us online. So here is what the conference is about. What we want to do here is just to share our experience and best practices about entrepreneurship education in Africa and the Middle East, and possibly explore partnership opportunities with those participating to Expo 2020 and especially the Emirates. So a little bit about our story. Okay, E4Impact is a spin-off of the Catholic University of Milan, which is the largest university in Europe by number of students. We were born in 2015 as a foundation, but we have been working since 2010 on entrepreneurship education, mainly in Africa and the Middle East. The goal is to breed entrepreneurs who can deliver positive social and environmental impact, and I see some of them in the audience as well. The second goal that we have is to work with universities, African and Middle East university, to embed entrepreneurship education in their curricula so that they can spur the entrepreneurship movement in their country. And eventually, the third goal is to build bridges and international trade among European and African and Middle East companies in a sustainable way. So since 2010, we have been working on the continent and the region. We are now in 17 countries offering entrepreneurship programs, and we are about to start in other 3. Since 2010, we accelerated 6,000 entrepreneurs who created 16,000 jobs, sustainable jobs for local communities across the region. 85% of them were able to start a new company, 87% were able to increase their turnover. By the end of the programs, 31%, 1 in 3, were able also to raise funds, and eventually, as I was telling you, 16,000 jobs have been created. This is what E4Impact is all about, creating jobs and helping economies in their transition towards a green world. Our roots, back in the day, in 2010, we began with this venture with a global MBA in APAC entrepreneurship. We are an academic institution, so we began with an academic program, an MBA, a Master of Business Administration, which nevertheless was pretty special because it was a combination of MBA training but plus business acceleration. So what we tried to make out of it was a very practical program that would help entrepreneurs design, develop, and implement their own business. And this is why they were eventually able to start a new company. To cut a long story short, I want to introduce you to Amin Sulay Abubakar, which is a student of mine from Ghana. He went through the 3rd edition of the MBA program over there. What he did within 2 years was to start a new company called Zacol, which recycles coconut husk into bio-charcoal. It was able to register the first count of this product in Ghana. He, after an investment of $500,000, was able to open the largest organic charcoal plant in the Saharan Africa region. Is now exporting to West Africa, the United Arab Emirates, Canada, and the US, and it was mentioned as one of the top 30 young entrepreneurs by Forbes. He also employs about 50 people. So this is what E4Impact is all about. Green transition on the one side, job creation on the other side. So since then, we have grown a portfolio of services because we realize not everybody want to do an MBA program, right? Maybe they just want to be entrepreneurs. So what we did was basically to start some short courses about entrepreneurship. Then eventually we opened a center in Kenya, and then other 7 centers, which are accelerators. David here with me is the head of our accelerator in Kenya. Then we moved into multilateral projects funded by the European Union and so on and so forth. And then eventually international services, which is internationalization both ways, from Africa to Middle East, from Middle East to Africa, from Africa to Italy, from Italy to Middle East, and all the way around. So we will have time to delve into all those items as David and President Van Wozen will be able to detail on each and every of that. What I want to tell you is a little bit about our future. So we now have started an alliance of universities, which include institutions from Sub-Saharan Africa and the Middle East. So that means that the initiative that used to be an Italian initiative is now being taken over by those universities which have been participating to the initiative itself. Now we have 20 universities from Morocco to Egypt, from Tunisia to South Africa, which member this alliance. President Van Wozen is a chairman of the alliance itself, and the goal of those 20 universities together is basically to keep designing, innovating, acceleration and educational programs for entrepreneurs in the region to thrive and therefore help the continent and the region to creating jobs as well as green transition. So I think that is all I wanted to say. I will hand it over to David, who's going to be one of the speakers and the moderator for the session, so it's a key person, basically, for the whole day. So David.
Thank you. Thank you, Fabio. And before I speak, I will first invite the President, Van Wozen, to speak, and I will introduce him to you. If you're following now, you're free afterwards to ask questions. If you're following online, as in this room, to type your question or your comment on the online chat, and we will respond to it at the end of our presentations. So I just take this chance to introduce you to Van Wozen Tamrat, PhD. He's an associate professor and founding president of St. Mary's University in Ethiopia. He is an affiliate scholar of the Program for Research on Private Higher Education, headquartered at the State University of New York at Albany, USA. He coordinates the subcluster for private higher education in Africa under the Africa Union Higher Education Cluster of the Continental Educational Strategy for Africa, CHESA 2016 to 2025. He currently serves as Vice President of the Ethiopian Technical, Vocational and Education and Training and Higher Education Institutions Association. He is the co-chair of the E4Impact Alliance, a university alliance for high-impact entrepreneurs in Africa. Tamrat has taught at public and private universities in Ethiopia for more than 2 decades now. He has published more than 40 articles in international peer-reviewed journals, including Studies in Higher Education, Journal of Studies in International Education, Journal of Education Policy, Higher Education Research, Development Journal, Quality in Higher Education, Higher Education Policy, and International Journal of Sustainability in Higher Education, and with global publishers such as Routledge, Broombasi, and Sainsbury's. He has authored and edited 3 books, and is finalizing his 4th book with Sainsbury's. He reviews articles for various international journals and regularly contributes to blogs like University World News, Inside Higher Education, International Higher Education. Professor Tamrat, we invite you to just share your thoughts and the work that the Alliance is doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David, and thank you, Fabio, for introducing the overall ideals of the Alliance. It gives me great pleasure to speak at this occasion about the E4Impact Alliance and specifically about the experience of St. Mary's University as a member of the Alliance. The way this all started is our engagement actually with the Alliance started in June 2016 when we signed a memorandum of understanding with the University de Católica to run the global MBA that Fabio was talking about. We had to go through an accreditation process which somehow allowed us eventually to start the program in 2017. We also became member of the Alliance and were elected as deputy chair of the Alliance in 2018. I think it would be very important to talk about why we have become part of the alliance and why we have chosen to take the global MBA, which I'll be talking about in the next 5 to 7 minutes. We have had the experience as an academic institution. We have had the experience of providing entrepreneurship education, but we were attracted to the global MBA, this E4Impact MBA, because of its benefits, potentials, and certain peculiarities that we saw in the program. And these peculiarities specifically related to some of the principles and broader goals set in the Alliance, which were very much in line with what my university was trying to do. And secondly, it was also related to the specific program structure and the benefits to the institution and to individual students. So just to highlight on some of the principles and broader goals which were very much relevant to us, you would see that, for instance, the Alliance tries to promote what we call inclusive and sustainable growth and job creation, which is a very important aspect of what you do these days as an academic institution. It also aligns very well with our intention of doing our business through education, research, and innovation, which is another major principle that the Alliance promotes. The third principle and the fourth principle are more into the cooperation and internationalization of higher education, which happens to be one of the major goals of St. Mary's University. So academic collaboration as a way of strengthening entrepreneurship is one of the key principles of the Alliance, and partnership between African and international institutions was regarded as leverage for mutual growth, which all somehow align with, as I said, the institutional principles, ideals, and goals that we wanted to promote as an institution, as a university. It's also worthy of note that some of the ideals and the broader goals of the Alliance and even the general MBA relate to some of the sustainable development goals and the African Union's Agenda of 2063, which very much relate to goals like no poverty, quality education, decent work, industry innovation, responsible consumption and production, and goals like a high standard of living, quality of life, well-being for all citizens, well-educated citizens, skill revolution, and transformed economies, which very much relate to what we do as an institution. So these were some of the peculiarities that we have to pick on as an institution. But the Alliance and the E4Impact Foundation is not for making theoretical claims. We have also found out that the actual structure of the courses and the benefits that our students, like the Ghanaian student Fabio talked about, got out of this program were the additional elements that drew us to the general MBA and to the other things that the foundation does. So if you look at the program structure, we've come to learn that there are specific features which we have not had before within our context, because our entrepreneurship education was more like theoretical, but the way that this has been approached through the global MBA is completely different. The first thing that you see with the program structure is that the admission and the graduation within the program is dependent on producing a competitive business proposal at the very beginning, which doesn't happen to be the case with academic-oriented institutions, whereby somebody who chooses to come to your program comes in and simply registers and goes on without, having set certain practical goals that they would like to achieve at the end of the program. So anyone who comes to these programs will have to come up with a business proposal, a working business proposal. They have to defend that proposal, and they have to ensure that this is somehow related to their life goals. It could be to their business goals. It could be to the overall improvement that they would like to make at the end of the day. So that ties up everything that goes within the course. So that was one peculiar thing that we were drawn into and our students were drawn into. The second one was that the way that courses have been offered has been very much hands-on. Very practical ways of doing things. You don't only have academicians to provide the courses, you have also practitioners, you have also entrepreneurs, actual entrepreneurs who are somehow given additional roles to come into the course scheme and contribute their own share. We have also what the course structure calls a business coach. This is a full-time consultant who is assigned to support students throughout their stay into the development of their plans and realization of their plans. I said there are guest speakers, potential investors, sector specialists who would definitely come into the scene and try to assist the students. Another special feature of the course, I would say, is the fact that it combines both conventional method with distance modes, whereby some busy entrepreneurs would not be able to sit in class for many hours, would have to come only for a specific period of time to the institution and then go back to their businesses and come back to the institution. Now, this has also been a very important feature of the program, which is attracting many people to come to the institution. Another thing is, this is an international degree, you would call it, but accessing an international degree at a reasonable cost and locally without the necessity of traveling abroad has been another additional advantage that this course structure has offered. So through the experience, since we've been part of this alliance, we have discovered that the claim that the E4Impact Foundation and the alliance have been making in terms of what they call the 3 notes have been truly realized. And the first note is that this program does not teach entrepreneurship. It trains you to be an entrepreneur. It just doesn't teach you. So we used to be teaching entrepreneurship education. Now we're moving into the practice of training people to become entrepreneurs. The second note is that this is not a traditional MBA. As I told you, this is why we've been practically attracted to this MBA. And thirdly, this is not, the third note, this is not a program for job seekers. It's for job creators. So we have this lived experience whereby we're now able to testify that truly this global MBA has had a lot of advantage. In terms of the benefits, actually, we see benefits at 2 levels. Fabio was talking about both these benefits, both at individual level and at institutional and national level. In terms of individual level benefits, you can see that through the experiences that I talked about, students would be able to gain local and international experiences through a blend of presentations, through a blend of different people, international and local staff involved in this. There will also be those who come new to create jobs will have the opportunity to develop their ideas into what we usually call bankable businesses, so they can change their ideas into actual businesses. And there are also people in our students who come up with their own businesses, and we assume that this would help them to scale up the already existing business to a better level, and that's what we've seen actually. And this has also created a condition whereby students are introduced to different institutions, as we would call an introduction to the entrepreneurial ecosystem, where they did not know who existed in this ecosystem, who is there to share their ideas, to support their ventures and what have you. So in all those, we would see that there have been useful things, benefits that students have really got from this experience. Just to share with you some experiences from our graduates, I would give you a profile of some graduates from the first cohort we had and the second cohort we had. So far we have graduated 50 students. 20 are in the pipeline. They will be graduating in a few weeks coming very soon. So we'll be having 70 entrepreneurs within the Ethiopian setup. But just to give you a highlight of what has been happening with the students. We have, for instance, from the first cohort, a guy named Abarrat Lahon, who joined the program with an existing business. He had his own business college. But in terms of strategies, he was not that structured and reformed, and he had now become, as part of the community that I'm leading as a vice president, he has also become part of a system whereby he's trying to strengthen the institution. We have another guy by the name Amanihun Redda, who joined the program with an existing publishing business, he had what he called Ethiopian Business Review, a publication. But at the end of the program, this guy had 2 spin-offs, which he launched. The new one was called Addis Maleda Weekly, an Amharic newspaper in the local language, and again another monthly magazine by the same name. We have another guy again from the same cohort who had an idea of setting up a mechanical design studio, but through the program he discovered that he's best suited for a different business. Now he runs a successful landscaping business, which is again the result of what he has gone through the program and what he has received as part of the training. Just to add 2 or 3 more examples from the second cohort of people we had. We have Alamaye Hasaye, who was part of the second cohort. When he joined the program, he had a successful business of producing animal food supplements called Calcitex. But because of the program, he was able to strengthen this business and also managed to develop a product line for chickens. He calls it Calci Chick. Now, both his products are patented and are now the most sought products in the sector currently in Ethiopia. We have again another guy who was also doing this MBA. Currently, he manages to set up a manufacturing plant under the name Wengel General Trading. Now he produces exercise books for the school industry. We have also another lady by the name Rahel Haile Mikhail, who runs what's called Tuba Crafts, house furnishing garments and textiles. Now currently she has a showroom around biggest part of the city and sells wider product categories and appears in many trade events to create further visibility and sale. So you can see the kinds of assistance that this program has made to these practical entrepreneurs and people who have come with new ideas, but who have thought that this could be done in a better way once they have joined the program. But this, you might call, is the kind of benefit that the program has at individual level. But if you ask me as an institutional leader, what are the benefits at institutional level? We have seen lots of benefits at institutional level as well. It has somehow, as I said at the beginning, helped us achieve most of our institutional goals, which are in alignment with the goals of the Alliance and the Foundation in terms of promoting entrepreneurship, creativity, in terms of graduate employability, which has become a very critical issue within the higher education sector these days. Through the experiences that we're sharing across Africa, I think it has also motivated our institution to learn more from places like Kenya, where David will be talking about a lot. So this is communicated not only to the students, but through the experiences and exchanges that we have people coming from different parts of Africa and people in Italy and instructors from different parts of the world. We have learned a lot in terms of promoting the program itself and promoting, how we could better be educated in terms of entrepreneurship education as well. And to your surprise, now we have lately decided that the entrepreneurship education model should be a model for both undergraduate programs and postgraduate programs. The way we used to do it previously was very much theoretical. Now we feel that we need to use this model and adapt it to the undergraduate and the postgraduate programs. This is in the making yet, but most of the experiences that we have acquired over the last few years we feel are good enough to take us on to these specific programs that we're going to launch in the next few years. Overall, there are still improvements to be done within this alliance, within the E4Impact Foundation. We usually call it, this is an evolving model, because we have more members means there are lots of sharing experiences and thoughts, as Fabio was saying, and through that sharing of experiences will definitely be keeping the model developed. So entrepreneurship education by itself needs a lot of dynamism, flexibility, and learning from your experiences. So we feel that we will have more rooms again to work with more professors in different countries, with all the alliance growing in members. We will definitely have more experience sharing platforms. There are peculiarities to each country, though we have some model which is trying to work across countries, but there will definitely be innovative ways of how we will do this in each part of the world, because we can have some peculiarities, some difficulties when it comes to individual countries. And with digitalization, which is also the next plan of the Alliance, we are going to grow more in terms of sharing experiences and creating the types of platforms that I was talking about. So we have seen over the last few years that this program is very, very relevant. It is very impactful in terms of creating entrepreneurs, in terms of creating new enterprises, in terms of creating new jobs. It has specifically encouraged new trainees and all, those with businesses to see opportunities, gaps, acquire additional knowledge and skills to develop their business. And we would also, beyond that, we would also see that this is a very relevant program in terms of what's happening in Africa, where you have 60 to 70% of the youth below 30 years old, below 30 years of age, and at the same time getting unemployed. We see that this could be one of the basic tools in which institutions might utilize to address the issues of graduate unemployment. We still want to be part of the Alliance. We've seen lots of benefits, as I said, and we hope we'll be able to contribute to this Alliance and keep learning from the Alliance to improve on our local programs and to create additional opportunities for those people who would like to join us now and then. Thank you very much, David.
Thank you. I think, yes. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Tamrat. I think you really reiterated the benefits, why you want to commit to be part of the Alliance, why what we are doing really answers to the SDG goals, the African agenda, and so on. So very, very great. Thanks for your remarks. Yeah. So now I will make my presentation. I think it was what was there before. All right, great. Okay. So I think Fabio really highlighted what is E4Impact, and the President has spoken about the Alliance and the benefit of the Alliance. I will just take a few minutes to share a bit from the MBA that Fabio was underlining and the President was underlining, from the MBA to entrepreneurship centers. So the practical side of entrepreneurship training, and just using the example of what we've managed to do in Kenya. So as you can see there, this is a bit of the path of how the program got into Kenya firstly, and then to the other African countries, 20 countries that we mentioned where we are present. So that's the Catholic University of Milan. And then in 2004, the Graduate School of Business and Society was created. And the same time, in 2004, the program on entrepreneurship targeting African students was created. And then in 2010, we actually started the program in Kenya. And from 2010, we ran the MBA, which we are running there. And in 2017, we actually started an accelerator, which is now the Entrepreneurship Center in Nairobi. And I think a bit of some factors and why we think entrepreneurship is taking a lot of roots in Africa. And I would say that there are two factors that are pushing this. There's what I call the pull factors and what I call the push factors. So the pull, what is pulling us to actually get more into entrepreneurship training? So sort of a bottom-up demand. So there's a lot of start-uppers and scale-uppers that are growing up in Africa. And this would be local entrepreneurs, smallholder farmers, cooperative value chain actors, retirees, as in they're people who work for government, and when they're about to retire, they see entrepreneurship as a way, as an opportunity for them. Local counties in the different countries that are supporting youth and women. And for this demand, we're actually responding to varied academic levels of entrepreneurs, because the MBA needed people who had an undergraduate. But if you're serving a popular sort of entrepreneurship training, then you're serving everyone who needs to get into entrepreneurship. But also, the other thing in Africa right now is that there's a changing attitudes toward entrepreneurship. As in, entrepreneurship now is a cool thing to do. As in before, maybe 10, 20 years ago, you would only get into entrepreneurship if you have not succeeded in your academic career or you don't have a white-collar job. But now it's a cool thing to be an entrepreneur. So that's the sort of the pull. And then the push, as in the donors have actually adopted this. So from aid to trade. And there's a lot of investment, as in that they're actually putting towards trade and supporting trade. And that means they're supporting entrepreneurship. So if we look at the European Union, the Italian Development Corporation, the French Corporation, World Bank, AFDB, USAID, Danida, all these actors, they actually, in each and every funding they do, there is an element of entrepreneurship, which they include. And then also the African governments are also investing in entrepreneurship, because this is the only way that we can actually create jobs for our people. So there are many programs. And if we even look at the ease of doing business statistics, the African governments have really been moving up. If you're to think about countries like Mauritius or Rwanda, which is 38 out of the 190 countries, you can see, and they're making strides forward, as in to really make ease of doing business. And then there is the rise of impact investing in Africa. As in, they say Africa now is the sort of the hotbed of impact investing. A lot of impact investors are actually investing into Africa. And lastly, there's a lot of also corporate CSR that are making also investment into entrepreneurship and startups. So in Kenya, an example would be like Safaricom Foundation that run programs for entrepreneurship. We have one of the international banks, Stanchart, that they run an incubator for women in tech. The Central Bank of Kenya ran an Afro-Asia FinTech competition. There's IBM, actually, who is our partner, and they ran a digital program. Also, Oracle has Oracle for Startups. So a lot of the corporates are actually also investing into entrepreneurship. And these are some of the sort of forces that actually as in made us as E4Impact to really as in follow the trend of what is happening and get into, let's say, more popular entrepreneurship programs. Here, this is a bit of our center, the E4Impact Accelerator Center in Nairobi. So we got the funding more or less confirmed in 2017, but we started the operations in 2018. The funding was coming from the Italian Agency for Development and Cooperation and ENI. And the center works with companies who have innovative products. They already have revenues. They have a strong entrepreneurial team and also have a clear social impact. And we really serve industries that we say are within the Big Four agenda of the Kenya government and the overlap of Italian excellences. And our center in 2018, when we actually started, was awarded as the best organization supporting impact entrepreneurs in Kenya, which was a good result within just 1 year of operation. So we offer an original service package around training, networking, professional services. We create links between African enterprises, Italian and European enterprises, and also we link with impact investors. And we support the alumni of the MBA programs that we actually running. The other thing that is emerging, so that is within the center, but we are also participating in the multilateral projects. So I told you already that donors are really investing into entrepreneurship. So we participate in the international bids and also local programs targeted towards entrepreneurship. And these programs are aimed at developing counties, regions, supporting value chains, supporting cooperatives, supporting smallholder farmers, and so on. And as E4Impact, as in having a lot of skills and experience in entrepreneurship. So we offer entrepreneurship training, coaching and mentoring, accelerator services, links with European companies, and access to finance to the companies that we are working with. And you can see a bit of the value chains which we support in our programs. So coffee, mango, as in camel. Here I had that one of the good delicacies is camel meat. Here we serve camel milk, honey, dairy, fodder, poultry, horticulture. Also within the circular economy, leather, and also renewable energy. So those are some of the sectors that we are supporting and working with. This is the service package that we provide. So I'll just mention a few things on this service package. So a customized training program, the market linkages, professional services. We have co-working space, so there's access to office space, mentorship and coaching, impact measurement and reporting, investor linkages, and also the alumni support, and a lot of visibility that we provide for our companies. A bit of some statistics of some numbers that we worked with, as in Fabio had already mentioned, the ones related to the MBA. But in the other, let's say, initiatives that are funded supporting entrepreneurs, you can actually see the list here. So we have, let's say, every year we are accelerating around 20 companies. We have served like 40 companies in the biogas system. Through our programs funded by the EU, that's called Switch Africa Green, we work with 104 entrepreneurs. We have 118 in an agri-change program. The French embassy supported us to work with 100 entrepreneurs. We've worked with the Ashoka Visionary program. So we really have a lot of programs which we are implementing, all targeted to entrepreneurs at varied levels. This is a bit of some results within the value chain and the value that we create for entrepreneurs. So you can see there we provide market linkages, as in both locally and abroad. So within Kenya, South-South, other African countries, and North-South, also to the rest of the world, or to internationalize. And then the fundraising for investment. So we are supporting our companies raise external funding, and they have increased their revenues up to 75%. We support them with certifications and compliance and business processes, and then rebranding and publicity. So we have a good relationship with the big media houses in Kenya, and they actually cover or feature our entrepreneurs. This is just an example of the fundraising that we did for one of the cohorts that we closed. So they were able to raise more than 2 million euros of external funding. Eni gave us grants, which we gave to them, 150,000 euros. And we are also working with the impact investors. So I already told you that there's a lot of impact investors who are investing now into Africa. So venture capital, Misio, and Poverty, Doen, Pesesha, those are some of the ones that we are working with. And they come to judge our entrepreneurs when they're pitching, and then they follow up with them to actually make investments. So the investments are normally in the form of debt, equity, grants, or even working capital. So this is just a bit of an idea of how we actually support companies to fundraise. So the new prospects for us, as in we've seen that the model in Kenya is working very well, and we are replicating that model in other 7 countries in Africa. Maybe in the future we will increase, because now we are present in 20 countries, maybe we will increase to all of them. And then we are also starting to be an ecosystem builder. We have one project, it's close to starting, supported by the World Bank, and it's for capacity building of incubators and accelerators in Kenya. And then we have a new program funded by IKEA, which is around agri-circularity. So supporting agri-circularity enterprises. And this is happening in Kenya, Ethiopia, and Uganda. These are a bit of our partners. So you can see the development partners we work with, because really we are part of a vibrant ecosystem. And so those are some of our donors, and those are the impact investors that we work with that are actually investing in our entrepreneurs. So lastly, it's really what I call the pathways for collaboration. And I think that there is room, as in if you're participating, if you're here or following online, there are ways in which we can collaborate together. So we provide, as E4Impact, really an avenue for creating a trade relationship between Africa and foreign companies, European or other foreign companies. So, and we have a team, the Business Development Africa, that is working towards that, to create those relationships. And they are working with the E4Impact centers. And then we spoke about the corporate CSR programs that are actually investing into entrepreneurship and the startup ecosystem. So that's another way in which we can collaborate. There's a lot of technology transfer, as in even here from this country or other countries, where a lot of that technology transfer can happen and reaching into Africa. And then funding to launch entrepreneurship programs. There is room to do that as well. And then what we've always received as well as a support is a mentorship support. As in, so successful enterprises can get in touch with us and offer mentorship. Sometimes it's just having a conversation, a talk, sharing the experiences, supporting some of our business decisions, as in offering a bit of consultancy, benchmarking visits. Sometimes that happens. So there's really room that we can collaborate with a varied level of stakeholders. And I think this is just brings a bit to an end my presentation and what we are doing. And I will end it with an African proverb, so that says, to go far, walk alone. To go fast, walk alone, but to go far, walk together. So this is really what we want to do. Thank you very much for your attention. Yeah. I'm the moderator as well, so I have to go on. But we're saying we can ask questions. If you're online, if you're joining now, you're free to ask questions. I saw one of our alumni in Ethiopia, in Uganda. He says he's proud to be an E4Impact alumni. So it's good that we follow the conversation. Maybe we put a bit of the chat and so on. And we will respond also at the end. So the next person I'm going to invite, and they're actually joining online, is one of our entrepreneurs and alumni. Her name is Francesca Muni. She's an entrepreneur from Kenya and a co-founder and CEO of COFA Kenya Limited, which is an enterprise that recycles vegetative waste into affordable fortified compost, which rectifies soils, increase production of quality food per unit area for the small and large-scale farmers who either have misused, overused, or abused their soils. Francesca's education's background mainly focused on business management, which later made her join the finance sector, where she worked for 10 years. Then after joining COFA in 2016, she decided to enroll in the E4Impact MBA program at Tangaza University College, which is our partner, the partner for E4Impact and the Catholic University of Milan that is based in Kenya. COFA, which is a company founded by Francesca, produces an COFA products on soil amendment are approved by the government of Kenya, and today serves 2,000 clients, 60 of which are repeat customers. It also received investment from an angel investor in 2018. I wouldn't like to talk more about the business because Francesca is online and she will be speaking about her business and the impact of what her business has managed to do and achieve. And also, I think she is also a proud alumni of our program. So, Francesca, if you're online, you can go ahead.
Okay, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Fine, thank you. We can actually see you, yes.
You can, yeah, I'm in Western Kenya. Today we are busy planting macadamia trees here.
Great, great. So Francesca, you're online, yes. And I have your slides. So can you see them?
Yeah, I have slides? Yeah, I can see them now.
All right, I'll be moving them, but you can start. Welcome.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so what happened in Kenya? We have so many farmers who have issues with the soil acidity, and we noticed that humus is one of the key issues that is affecting the soil. So we started converting biodegradable waste, every vegetative matter, into a fortified compost. These we use together with soil conditioners to actually improve the soil fertility. So based in the rural areas, we created the three products, that's the compost, the soil conditioner, and the enzymes. And we actually saw farmers increase with over 45%. Yeah, we have quite a market in Kenya with small-scale farmers and also the large-scale farmers. And we have seen so many of the farmers who are suffering most are the small-scale ones who rely on agriculture entirely for their income. So when we are serving these small scale farmers, we are actually uh, meeting three of their needs. That's the food, some income, and also taking care of the environment for them and their future generations. For the large scale farmers, they are good because they already have markets, but most of them do not suffer severely as the way the small scale farmers suffer. And we haven't even repaired even 10%. So far, we have trained over 150,000 small scale farmers, repaired over 12,000 acres, and we keep converting over 2,500 tons of vegetative waste every 3 months. Our annual sales have now grown to 5,000, and we got our first angel investor in 2018, and 2019 we rolled out very well. Only 2020 we had a little bit of Corona era, but we are moving on. We are still looking to raise funds because we'd like to scale up. Because there are so many farmers who need our work. Like now, where I am, Western region is far away from where we are based in Kirinyaga. So if we can have a different depot on this side, it will also serve and reach more farmers. So the $228,000 is what we are looking for. Part of it for marketing and creating awareness, but part of it also will be for we increasing our production capacity and setting the welcoming as many of you to also join move and change the lives of many. Edu.
Yes, Francesca, we can hear you.
Okay.
I think we're on the last slide, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. I think it was really clear, unless you have any parting shots. We've
No, I would
that
only
you're also
encourage.
raising- Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm encouraging many who are looking for an organization that is led by ladies, that is touching agriculture, that's touching environment, on circular economy. COFA is one of them, fully trained and assisted by E4Impact. So we are ready for you.
Great. Thanks, Francesca. And it's great that you're in the farm, you're working, but you're able to connect to an international conference. Thank you very much. So,
Thank you
yes,
too.
a big hand for Francesca. Great. Thank you, Francesca. But you can still stay online. If there will be questions, we can come back to you if there's a specific question for you. Thank you. So the next speaker that we have is one of our alumni from Ghana, Erasong Adija Ahmed. She is an entrepreneur and co-founder of Maida Foods Limited, a company that adds value to locally grown cereals, grains, and vegetables to curb malnutrition in weaned babies. She enrolled for the MBA in 2019 at University of Professional Studies in Accra, Ghana, in partnership with E4Impact and Universidad Católica del Sacro Cuore. Maida Foods has 800 people as clients and a team of 5 employees and sales agents. She has received the award of the most inspiring young female entrepreneur in 2019. And she's also an author of an entrepreneurship guide called The Hustle is Real. She's also the founder of Muslim Women Entrepreneurs and Leaders, who she encouraged to build sustainable business for their own good. So Adija, welcome, and congratulations for winning this award in 2019. The floor is yours. We are listening to you.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And thank you for the introduction. I'm humbled. In my book, The Hustle is Real, I actually stated that God chose me to become an entrepreneur. Why? Because my journey as an entrepreneur was from a personal experience. That was when I had my child. I remember back in 2012, I had a stillbirth. So when immediately after that, I had my second child. And for 3 months, the child stopped breastfeeding. And out of frustration, I was like, no, I can't continue this cycle. And so I needed to develop something to feed my child. So I produced her very first meal. And with that particular meal, that was what she lived on for almost a year, and she was doing so well. For some time, I realized it was helping me. So I decided to use it to help other mothers and then more babies to curb malnutrition and also for picky eaters. For me, my journey as an impact entrepreneur, we've been able to develop 8 regular, highly nutritious meals and 6 instant meals to help babies grow better. We've also been able to get our products analyzed, approved, and recognized by the Food and Drugs Authority and other regulatory and relevant stakeholders in our country. We currently sell in over 50 retail outlets and also creating jobs opportunities for the young and old in our communities. We have also been able to get, we are hoping to get distributors across the country and beyond for our products. Yeah, presenting on this topic, the role of how entrepreneurship programs can spur sustainable businesses. This topic means so much to me because I can perfectly relate with it because I'm a direct beneficiary of the impact of this program. And for me, pursuing an accountant pursuing to become a successful entrepreneur, that is one of my greatest program I really wish I was in. I was able to do, and I'm very happy about it. The program gave me the opportunity to know myself and understand myself better. It gave me the resilience to build my business because I was able to link up with other entrepreneurs, my coaches, and my coordinators. And they actually helped me by sharing beneficial information that has also made my journey very, very smooth. Every entrepreneur needs great networks, and that was what the project also gave me. That's building strategic networks by linking up with more people for beneficial knowledge. It also gave me the belief and the trust to keep moving on with my brand because it gave me the edge to develop my documents, which was the hustle role, to encourage and motivate other entrepreneurs to keep moving forward. It also helped me to get the opportunity to master my craft because as you are on the program, you are able to learn and unlearn your craft and then build your business to make it stand well and then move forward to the next stage. And yes, with using our brand, we've been able to join the Magda Entrepreneurship Challenge. Then on COVID lockdown, we're also able to get some nose masks for market women as a support. Also, my child that I use for the product, she has grown now and she's about 7 years now, and that is her also down there to show that we're actually doing well and we are hoping to make more impact. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Dear, that was great. And the fact that you started the business from a personal story is really great. You're really answering to a real need. Compliments for that. So I think we're coming to an end of this session. And I still say if you have questions, you can post them in the chat, you can ask at the end. So as we almost come to an end, I will still invite our Director of Programs, Fabio, to speak about the platform of services and a bit about the future of entrepreneurship education. So welcome, Fabio.
Thank you again, David. I don't want to take much of your time, just to let you know that how we see the future of those kind of ventures. So we began as an academic institution, we began with an MBA program. And what we have been doing little by little was to unbundle it, to break it down into services. And the future, as we see it, is exactly onto that direction. So what we're going to do is to even get to the bone of the training and add services all around the training itself. So the first one is going to be a digital ecosystem where entrepreneurs such as Rasunga and Francesca can go online and do B2B across the continent. So there will be a B2B platform, a business-to-business platform. There will be a B2C platform where they can sell their products. There will be a value chain platform for them to track down what they're doing so they're going to be able to export in an easy fashion, and then eventually a number of software through which they can handle the company, from bookkeeping to customer relationship management, right? So the digital space where they can find all those kind of services. Second one is going to be very simply a series of professional services entrepreneurs can turn to. I need bookkeeping. I can go from this to this professional firm, consulting firm that can help me. And then the last two are financial enablers, I would like to say. So a right to scholarship facility that is going to help entrepreneurs in their starting phase of the journey, and then eventually a guarantee fund for entrepreneurs who are in look for scale-up funds to turn to. So rather than an holistic program, an holistic platform where each and every entrepreneur can find what they need when they need it. And this is the way we're going, and this is what we're looking for in terms of partnerships. Some organization that may help, especially with the financial components, the right to education, and the guarantee fund. I think, David, if you want to check out any questions?
Yes. Do we have any questions on the chat or even here? Any clarification, any comments? Please go ahead. Maybe or you can just speak.
First of all, this was an extremely inspiring event. I really was so glad to hear about the alumni and especially from the guests that spoke to us today. I'm actually a student of politics and international relations, and I was wondering if you could give us some more insight on the social impact of these projects, which I imagine is immense. And I also had a little technical question, which was if you could just give me a broad definition of what exactly are the impact investors, what that means. Thank you so much.
All right, great. I don't know whether we want to pick all the questions and then we will just respond. Yeah. And if you could just say your name, so at least we know. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Emilio, and first of all, I want also, like Khadija, thank you for this event. It was very interesting. And she studies international relationship, I study economy, so I was curious about, I have several questions. So first of all, many economists say that Africa will experience a significant economic boost in the next years. And I want to know do you think this goal is achievable prior to 2030? And something that is very fascinating to me is which characteristics make Africa a unique economic ecosystem compared to the other developing economies. And well, we usually speak about Africa development and the development of the African economy, but I was wondering if this progressive development is equal within the continent or not, and if not, how could we foster cooperation to do so? And lastly, you spoke also about the support of the government to the enterprises. So which policies are the governments and the central banks also undertaking to enhance this development? Thank you.
Those are really great questions. I don't know, they're weighty already, and I'm wondering whether we should respond to them first, and then because they're, okay, or we just take all and then we will split. Go ahead.
Yeah, then again, as my colleague already said, I want to compliment you. I think this is the definition of what a good practice is and how a process can actually enable and change completely a reality and a territory. My question is kind of similar to one of Emilio's. So I wanted to know which are the peculiar characteristics of the entrepreneurship in the MENASA area, so in the Middle East and the African territories. Thank you.
And what's your name?
Thea.
Thea, okay. He has a question in the back.
Hello, my name is Paolo. I just want to ask a question which I think refers to what the point he just raised. How much all of this is and can be the result of bilateral cooperations among countries, among universities, and so forth, and how much it can become a multilateral platform. In the sense, is it a process we can push forward to make it a multilateral approach, or we still based a lot on bilateral initiatives? My second point is a proposal. We are about to launch in this Expo at the Italian Pavilion the first Arab Mediterranean digital campus, university campus, for teaching new skills, new soft skills as they are called nowadays. I would be glad with my colleague Lorenzo, who is in charge of this project, to think that we could make it an African Mediterranean Arab platform. With the participation of the E4Impact group of universities. That might be, I think, a significant contribution to make it move forward to a very global approach. Thank you.
Great. I think we even have to compliment the last suggestion, but I would still give my colleagues a chance to respond to it. But okay, let's come here. Yeah.
Hello, all of you. I am Sirere Yassin from Sudan. I am a student of this program. It is really, as anywhere they said, it is really, because they encourage me to go to the globalization, to look finance myself, my project, to be a social entrepreneur. So thank you for this opportunity. I came today from Khartoum for this event, especially to attend. To go together as your proverb, to go together and go fast. Great.
No. Thank you so much. And it's a great pleasure to have you, as in to have one of our students sitting here is great. You still have a question? No. Okay. So I'll split the question again along the moderators who are here. I take the compliment, so that's... on the question asked by Paolo, I will give that to you, Fabio, and still also, President, you can say something about how much the bilateral and multilateral platform, but also his proposal about launching the digital campus and involving Africa. So you can say something to that. I just want to divide all the questions first, and then you can come to the answers. The question that you asked, social impact and impact investing. So the impact of the program to create a social impact, that I will leave to you. I will touch the impact investing bit. What does it mean? And then to Emilio's questions, Africa economic boost, how is it achievable? Is it achievable? That I'll give you, Prof. Tamrat. The unique ecosystem and whether it is equal or is it progressive. So I think you can give it an attempt. To that. And then the question is, which are the characteristics of good practice for entrepreneurship? Maybe Fabio, you can attempt that. So you can, I don't know who goes first, you can go first and then Prof can come. Yeah.
All right, I'll follow your order. So I start with Paolo. And how much can it make as a multilateral approach? I think a lot. I mean, of course, we are Italian. We are proudly Italian and African, as you can see. But I think we have been working with multilateral agencies a lot. The World Bank is one of the organizations that has been supporting us. The French embassy has been working with us. The delegation of the European Union has been working with us. So we are wide open to multilateral approaches. You know, there is a lot we can do with European Union, with the US, so we are totally open also to the Far East. And then, of course, your proposal is very welcome. I mean, the idea of building this alliance was indeed to give a scene to those unbelievable universities we have been able to put together for them to thrive. So I am sure all the members of the alliance will very much welcome the idea of opening an African Arab digital campus over here on Expo, and I'll be happy to follow up on it at any time. But I can give it as granted. They're going to be on board. They're going to be very, very excited. Shall I take the other one?
Yes, take
okay. Okay. Well, it's a kind of a philosophical question, if I understand it well. What are the features, the characteristics of the entrepreneurs in the territory? Well, I'll try to make it short and simple. First of all, resilience. In some cases, being an entrepreneur in those regions ain't easy. So you got to be resilient because there are certain things they are not in place and you have to do without them. So resilience is surely one. Another one is creativity. I mean, I've never seen as creative people as entrepreneurs we have been training. You see, for example, Lerazung, she has a problem with feeding her baby. She came up with a solution. She didn't look for a solution. She came up with a solution. I mean, initially, what we would have done was to complain a little bit and then go to the supermarket and see what else, companies as to offer us. But she came up with a solution. So the creativity is surely one of the characteristics entrepreneurs have in the region. And then passion, and especially passion for social impact, environmental impact. Entrepreneurs feel they have a duty to help the community they are working out of grow. Okay, they don't feel like they are free riding the economy. They are not free riding the communities they come from. They feel they belong to the community and they do want to do good for the community. So you will see that they are not tempted to save money through polluting the environment. They're not going to do that. If there is any pollution going on, it's because there are no means to avoid it. But as an approach, as a mindset, they feel they belong to the community. They are proud of that. They want to make sure the community partake in the company, and that makes it sustainable. And this is how entrepreneurship can be a tool to sustainable economy, to green transition.
Yes, thank you, Fabio. Welcome. Yeah.
Very interesting questions again, I would like to admit. Some reflections on how things are going in Africa, I would say. I think the economic boost that we're talking about is already happening in Africa, especially before COVID. You might be interested to know that among the 10 fastest economies happening globally, 5 to 6 are already in Africa, including countries like Djibouti and Ethiopia. So that economic boost that we are looking for is definitely happening now. And that shows that, we're in a very positive course of action, which we have to keep in. But again, we have challenges as well with all the new changes that are happening in Africa. Although we regard it as a resource as well, one of the peculiar elements that we have in Africa is the youth. Like as I said, not less than around 70% of the youth is below 30 years of age, which is a huge resource to tap on. And that's what we would regard as a specific and a peculiar resource that we can use on compared to the other parts of the world where, the demography is completely different in terms of its structure. And I would say in terms of natural resources as well, Africa is if it exploits its resources very well and knows how to do it, that's also, sitting there to be exploited. So I would say that with the use of these essential resources, would definitely be able to progress positively in the future. But the progressive elements, as you were talking about, could be different from country to country, and this depends on how you view what you have as potential resources and how you would like to exploit it, and what policies and strategies you would like to put into the system. If you ask me, for instance, in my country, very recently, 2 years back, we've at a national level created what we call a job creation committee, which is led by the Prime Minister, where almost around 20 critical ministries are part of that job creation committee, and they plan to generate around 3 million jobs per year. And this doesn't happen out of the blue. So they have to collect to coordinate the regions, the ministries, and everything that we do, both at educational level, training elements, and in terms of boosting the economy and the new opportunities that the government would like to create. All these are somehow connected with what happens. And there are some 6 sectors, like the manufacturing sector, like the IT, like tourism and travel, again, which is a very big potential within Africa, which have already been selected. And there are plans at each and every sector level, and those plans get reviewed every 3 months, and government charts its future on the basis of this. So if there is a focused move based on your policies and the strategies, and there is no way why you will not be able to achieve that. So it depends on which country is leading the way and which country is following, depends on the way governments are prioritizing the elements. But I would see this also as a critical element of the future of African governments. I mean, having that use bulge, you just cannot sit down and assume that everything is going to get normal. If you don't do that, there will be other repercussions as well. So I would say that more is yet to be done by African governments, both in terms of socially and economically impacting on what happens within the communities. Yes, there are challenges in terms of self-employment, in terms of entrepreneurial activities, like getting land, like getting the necessary resources. But these are areas which governments are trying to address, I would say. The bilateral and multilateral reform that we've been talking about, I would say very demands of entrepreneurial education or even entrepreneurial ideas, you would say, are multilateral by nature. You cannot simply assume that 2 parties would come together and get this done. You have the beneficiaries, you have the entrepreneurs, you have the supporters which come part of the ecosystem, as we were saying. So you have business and industry, funders, governments, non-government organizations, and other multilateral organizations which would like to see how things are happening in Africa, in continents like Africa, where rather than having too many refugees, supporting the system and keeping them in their own country is a much better strategy, and the funding is not done without a purpose. So I would say that this very multilateral nature of entrepreneurship should be reflected in whatever we do. And even in terms of the specific characteristics that Fabio was talking about, resilience, creativity, the time is also too demanding, that without these elements of creativity, perseverance, without thinking anew as to how you would do things, you will not be able to be successful. You call it at individual level, call it at institutional level, sectoral, or national. So I think entrepreneurial activities or ideas are more of an embodiment of what the time demands and what we would like to see things change through practical and meaningful activities. That's what I would say, David.
All right, thanks. I will respond a bit to some of your questions about social impact. I think that through programs like the ones we are running, it's clear that impact is happening at the social level because there is job creation being created. I think some of our alumni who shared, they actually shared on how they're creating jobs. And then secondly, they are also creating innovatively solutions to their own problems. And this is a bit of the challenge of, let's say, even the African situations or ecosystems, maybe where the government or private sector is not responding to those needs. And so our social entrepreneurs actually figure out the solutions for themselves and create, first of all, solutions first to themselves and then to the community around them. And this is a clear social impact, as in if you're to think about it. And then the other one is all around environment. So there's a lot of renewable green businesses that are being created. And also this is because of also the challenge, maybe we don't do a lot of good waste collections, the municipalities or the towns don't do that. And so the entrepreneurs take upon themselves to create a value out of this kind of waste. As in there is a waste collection company created by one of our entrepreneurs. And the tagline is, Taka taka ni mali, like waste is wealth, right? So they've been able to create wealth out of waste. And this is a very clear social impact. And then on the other question about impact investors, who they are, as in really these are investors who, as in don't only see, let's say, the economic bottom line of the company. And so they are driven or motivated by other factors that they want to see in some of our startups or alumni. So they want to see the social impact, they want to see the environmental impact. So those are the sort of three things. So you would say the triple bottom line. Are you able to show me social impact, environmental impact, but for sure there has to be an economic impact for what you're doing. So if you can be able to demonstrate those three levels of impact, and then you can actually have a conversation with an impact investor. And really, it's growing. It's really, we couldn't say that 10 years ago, but now we are speaking about it. Every other pitch event that we are having, we have 2 or 3 impact investors sitting with us. So it's growing, and it's really having a big value for entrepreneurs. Last question to you. I think the question about the different African ecosystem, what is happening, can it be equalized? I think the Africa Free Trade Area Cooperation is one of the tools which the African government, African Union and so on, is actually using. Because now and most of the African countries have signed the treaty to be part of the Africa Free Trade Area. And really, this is a way in which we can actually sort of equalize what is happening, because then it's going to create free movement of goods and free movement of people, as in there would be zero-rated tax or tax rebates or free tariffs for goods to move within the African continent. And this will really help countries, maybe weaker economies, to really, because you can move if you are looking for work, you can go to another country where there's an opportunity. If you have a product to sell to another country, you can do it tariff-free. I think it's a way in which is really a great opportunity that the African governments are seizing to make sure we have almost an equal playing field. Yes, thank you.
No, I just wanted to add a very, very quick one. The crowd here in Dubai is very young. So I just want to make you an offer, guys. If you feel like you are intrigued by building a career in Africa, our doors are open. You want to do an internship in one of our countries, you want to do a small consulting project, you want to write a dissertation about a specific topic, our doors are open. And of course, our doors means that you have access to folks like David, Unwozen, and the like across the continent. So just feel free, walk up, and we'll build something together. Okay?
I think in terms of model, it's also good to look at what benefits there are in what the alliance is trying to do, whether you will be operating in the Middle East or in Africa. And the model is more important, much wider than what we are doing at the level of these places. Whichever continent you look at, some of the things that we are trying to do are very beneficial in terms of preparing the youth for, moving into the next step of their life. So it's always good to take the lessons even when you are not able to go to Africa and operate.
Great. I think this brings us to a good end of this session. We really want to thank you for your attention, as in the questions were really fantastic. And the audience, I think it really meant that what we shared a provocation to you. So we are really grateful for that. I think closing this session, we're still here. If there's anyone who wants to speak to us individually, we can still do that. I think we will also provide our contacts for anyone who wants to do it, as in being here physically or even the ones who are following up online. And probably just to close, I think there was there a comment here by, excuse me, I think it was, so we have a lot of proud alumni, and I think they're sharing about how proud they are to be part of the E4Impact. So PNM says, it's indeed an inspiring event. Some of us as alumni have benefited a lot from this program, and we are impacting lives in our various fields. So really, this is coming true, and it's a true position that most of our students and alumni share about. So thank you very much for your attention. I guess until next time, thank you.